Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Monday night. Joey, another great weekend, but we're here with the Rewind show, which is a whole week of action happening in sports, and this particular show about the NHL, obviously being from Canada. And for those of you who watch the show, another new background, because guess where we are now? We ain't playing hockey. We're in Myrtle Beach.
Definitely Myrtle Beach, playing some golf. So beautiful weather here. Super excited to be down here and doing this show, like I said, with a new background. But you'll see this for a little while here, for a little 2 months, and playing lots of golf. So I feel bad for all the people up north.
We got just in time.
Yeah, I heard you're getting hammered with snow. So we saw it in Green Bay.
We only have summer tires in the car. We would have been in real trouble.
Massive.
Anyway, we made it down here. We're ready to go. Joe, you've had a couple of good days of golf here. You're off for like a month and a half, so it's been a little bit of a rusty start, but you're really the even part round today, which is nice. And more and more practice is only going to make that better, because you've really not been able to play a lot of golf. For those of you who don't watch the show, Joey's a 22-year-old professional golfer and has been off 14 months with this damn injury. We're over that. You're playing good golf. Had to reconstruct your swing to help over the injury, and we're kind of all there now and looking forward to that. So we're going to keep you up to date as we go through the next couple months here in Myrtle, and then on to Florida to play on the Florida Elite Tour. But we're not talking golf right now. We're actually talking about cold ice, and that's where the game has gone now to the NHL. And a week in the NHL brings lots of happenings, lots of games happen. Unlike the NFL, we're talking about one game, even though there's lots to talk about. This is 3 or 4 games per team in a week. So,
and you talk about Florida. There's hockey in Florida. We're actually going to go do a tournament, but there is a lot of hockey in Florida. And actually, I think one of our topics is about one of the teams down there in Tampa Bay. But hockey's always a crazy week with the amount of games they play throughout, and lots of topics here. What's our first?
Sorry, before we get going here, because I'm going to forget again, UltimateSportsChannel.com. Head to the channel. As you're saying, Joy, there's lots going on. We can't cover it all, but we do cover it all on Ultimate Sports Channel. You get all the sports guys podcasts, you get articles, you get videos, all on our website. So make UltimateSportsChannel.com the place to start every morning and see those shows. And then every Monday, you get a chance for us to cover some of the shows that you may not be involved in, may not have watched during the week, whatever it may be. And we're going to cover those tonight. Joy, we're going to start at home to begin with. Our big contract negotiation of this past summer, and you would have heard us talking about a lot. Mitch Marner out 4 weeks for the Leafs. A disaster after what went on to get him into the lineup this year with a big contract, and out 4 weeks. This is going to be tough.
Yeah, minimum 4 weeks. Hamstring or ankle injury. Obviously that's very bad for the Leafs. I mean, Pace got all this money. He's going to miss at least 4 weeks, maybe more than that. Could be like 20, 25 games, I guess. And, it's tough. He's one of our most important players, arguably one of the best in the league. And when he's out that long, it's going to be tough for him to even come back. So that's another couple of weeks. And really, you're looking at him playing good hockey, hopefully, from the All-Star break on, because he's going to miss a lot of this season here. The Leafs are going to have to power through it, next man up, as they always say. I think they got enough guys that they can rotate through and be okay.
Tavares was out for a while.
It's a lot of money.
They played okay. Well, he was out, now he's back. He'll be able to step in.
I think it's just tough for the Leafs with these injuries.
But he's such a skilled guy. Tough to replace Marner.
Well, I just think it's tough, with chemistry, trying to build stuff. More importantly, you have all these young guys pay all this money to, and just not seeing them play as fans is obviously annoying. Each guy has had a little bit of an injury problem, not problem, but has had their share of injuries. Matthews has been injured. Nylander has probably been the healthiest one of all, but Marner, now Tavares, now Marner. That second line of the Leafs is struggling a little bit, but he will be fine, and we'll see what happens in 4 weeks' time, and hopefully he comes back healthy. And really, we know right now the Leafs that are still looking strong, even though their second halves back-to-back are struggling, will be in the playoffs, and that's what we need to be ready for.
Yeah, big miss, though. It's a real tough one. And his old team, Tavares' old team, New York Islanders, 10-game winning streak.
Oh, God, yeah, 10-game winning streak, New York Islanders.
We kind of dismissed them. We got to be honest, because we do brag about how good we were in our camp reports, but the Islanders, we were not good. We didn't think they were going to be able to continue this year.
I did not like them. I thought they lost kind of some big possible signings. They lost their goaltender, who was a bit more than a goaltender. He was really their heart and soul, I felt a little bit. They went out and kept Thomas Greiss, which was good, or Greiss, and went out and got Varlamov, actually, from Colorado. And together, they've been very dominant. 10-game winning streak was finally snapped. but very impressive start to the season. Second place in their division, very comfortably, obviously, right now in a wild card position. Lots of games left. We'll see what happens. Lou Lamoriello, another great team of his, was once with the Leafs, was once with the Devils. Clearly knows how to get the right players, and we'll see what they do going forward. But 10 games is one of the longest streaks so far this season, and one of the longest actually in the NHL.
Hey, let's hope for the Islander fans this is not a Buffalo streak from last year where they won 20, then lost 20, ended up outside the playoffs. So hope that this works for the Islanders. Nice to see 10-game win streaks. They don't happen often. Actually, one of our wagering strategies would have blown to hell here. We do bet against streaks when streaks are happening. We know that teams are going to eventually lose. 10-game winning streaks are not good. We like to play those ones at 3, 4, 5 winning streaks and losing streaks and know that they're going to end eventually. This would have been a tough one to be in. But we're on the bottom side of the Islanders' 10-game winning streak, having them right in the playoffs. And we're looking at last year's best team and best team by far. Shocker, first-round loss, and not looking very good this year in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's still not turning around there in Tampa Bay. Obviously devastating first-round loss last year in the playoffs after
and there's some hangover from that, I guess.
A record break. Yeah, I guess so, after a record-breaking regular season. So maybe that's all it is hangover. I expect them to turn around. The players on the team are too talented not to figure it out, at least to get back in the playoffs. What this does do is shake up the division that the Leafs were in, and right now they had actually played Montreal in a best-of-7 game series. So
anybody but Boston.
Yeah, anybody but Boston. So I mean, it's just interesting what this can do to a division that had the Leafs play Boston the last 2 years. We'd prefer it if they're not in the playoffs or somewhere other than first place, because Boston right now is first place and most likely will stay there. But yes, can they turn around and at least get in the playoffs? I think they will, but definitely shocking to still be kind of about a month into the season now and still not really clicking. It's interesting.
It's amazing to see all that talent and all what they did last year to go this bad. But again, the talent's still there. So
it's early, but I thought still a month into the season
they started to be turning it around.
Better, but
so we'll see what happens there in Tampa. We're still calling for the playoffs.
Definitely.
I think they're going to get enough points over the season. We'll see what happens there. But then a shocker on the other side is Vancouver's a playoff team right now. And glad to see, because we want all our Canadian teams in there. There's only 5 of us, and we want to all make the playoffs. So I think it's great to see Vancouver back in the playoff spot right now, although it's early in the season.
Again, early. All these topics are early, but I must say impressive start. And really looking really strong. I mean, they're not winning weak games. They're not winning by flukes. I mean, they look like a strong team that have put teams in their place, really, and sent them away. And they have a great record right now.
Yeah.
Third in their division, not even a wild card spot, but actually in their divisional race.
And you know what?
And good young rookies in Pedersen and Bo Horvat, who's the captain there, doing a good job in his first season rallying this young team.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, they have great fans there. This is probably before your time. I can't remember exact years, but they had the white towels out for Vancouver in the playoffs. They got the Stanley Cup final. Couldn't win it, but these fans will come out and they'll be loud and they'll really get into it if this team is able to maintain this. I look forward to it. It's a big city. We know it well. I used to have a head office from one of the companies I worked for in Vancouver. Love the city there. We were considering moving there this year. How much we love it. So I hope they do well. I love to see the fans get another team in the playoffs there. And then, we're talking about that. Boy, St. Louis Blues. I didn't like them last year. You loved them. They got there. They win the Stanley Cup. I still thought that was kind of just a lucky run but apparently not. This team is back, and unlike Tampa Bay, continuing with success.
Better than ever, actually. Way more confident start here. 13-2-3. Very, very impressive stuff. I thought there might be a bit of a hangover.
Yeah.
Big question about Jordan Binnington, because he really only came in half the year. Went on a incredible run. Sometimes with goaltenders, that's just a run and then they lose it. Nope, they've come out to a blazing start here. Like I said, better than last year. Might think repeat, with this start, looking stronger and
well, they have to be better. Last year they were last place halfway through the season. So, they've come back and proven it wasn't just a fluke that they ran through the second half of the season to make it and win the Stanley Cup. So good to see that happening in there. Lots of great stories on the Blues side. Now a very sad story and kind of we don't know him well. He's from my day and age of playing. Howard Chuck with Buffalo, great hockey player. Looking at surgery now, stomach cancer. But I do want to bring another sideline. Is you played golf with his son
Eric,
at the pro level. Eric's been close. He hasn't made it yet. but is a good guy, super good guy. We've never met his dad, but I imagine the way Eric is, Howard Chuck's a great man, and unfortunately now looking at stomach cancer.
Yeah, obviously all this stuff is sad of older athletes of your sport, or really any age of someone in the sport. You feel this great connection to them. So, this cancer is obviously very difficult, and, kind of a tougher guy, hockey player, right? This is not how he wanted to go out, and he's determined. Well, he's not going to go out for sure, actually. Sorry, I spoke.
Yeah.
He is obviously not dying, but obviously surgery, it's got to be difficult for someone, like him, like you talk about, great hockey player, tough. But he's going to battle through it, and he's determined. He's already said he's determined to come back and just be fine and better than ever. And we wish him the best. And like I said, his son has been nice to me anytime I've bumped into him on the golf course.
Super nice guy.
So obviously great family there, and we just wish him the best.
Well, we're going to see that. He's been such a great help to young players, coaching in the OHL level. Has never tried going into the NHL. He's helped the young guys out at junior hockey level. So it was, from all accounts, everything I ever saw, like I said, I've never met him, but always good talk about who he is. Oh, everybody's positive. So we're putting out our best wishes to him, that these things will go, as well as they can go, and that there'll be full recovery here. Certainly this is happening much more. Every day people are getting past cancer. I know 2 other guys that are within my realm of hockey, in minor sports, that are going through this, and so we can only hope for the best there. That's we're hoping for, just a great recovery there. Joey, a player from another league, talking about NHL.
Yes, I forget what
you're forgetting the subject now. Okay, well, I'm going to have to go back and find it for you.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm forgetting about this. I am very sorry.
This is one of the ones you threw in there, so it's taking a big interest in NHL. Well, if you've forgotten that one, he's obviously not too impressive.
This topic, though, is interesting. I think I wrote it down, not about one player. I think I meant players.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I meant players. But players from other leagues, being very impressive in the NHL. So I think what I was getting at here, and I got a little lazy on the title, I guess. But what this is about really is, the market of players in other leagues is so much more important now than it ever was. That homegrown, draft and raise them is very less important.
Right.
In fact, they're drafting a lot of Russians that go play pro for 3-4 years and come over at 24 and are ready to go. I think that's what I was getting at here. So,
also remember Austin Matthews. He played pro
at 16
as a kid, which you can't do over here.
Right. In I think Switzerland he played.
Yeah.
And so, these younger kids are going over there and playing pro hockey.
Or players who played there and coming back.
Yeah, before going to the NHL. Or played there and then come back. Ilya Kovalchuk went to Russia. He's come back. Datsuk's now over in Russia. Maybe he'll come back one day. But I'm telling you, these other leagues are developing great hockey players, and NHL is taking big interest in them, and they're taking big interest in the NHL. It's a great growing ground for these guys, and it's going to be very interesting how much longer minor leagues really only survive because of players that have to go down for brief weeks right now. It'll be interesting to see how the minor league systems of the NHL hold up with these other pro leagues outside in other countries are living up to the hype with developing players.
Well, it's going to get tough in Canada because less and less kids are getting there from Canada, and we're obviously a small country. Hockey's very important to us. Does it turn the tide of players not joining hockey? It's obviously a risky sport. The odds are already astronomical. If there's less Canadians being able to get to the hockey level, or less of them going to NCAA, or less of them even going through the rigors and the costs and everything to get to that point when their odds are even going down.
I think the biggest thing right now, though, is like, someone like Austin Matthews, he went over there and made money at 16 years old. I think that's going to be intriguing for guys going forward now, because they do take care of you quite well over there, and you're treated amazingly like a rock star. We've heard many stories of private jets to your games, and you're celebrated everywhere you go and make good money. I'm just saying, even Canadians, you might see go over there.
Tons of them are going to go play in Europe, actually.
And might come back, though.
Yeah.
And maybe if you draft guys, I'd rather send them there than the AHL, unless you're a guy that they might call up all the time. But if you're a guy, right now they can still send them to the OHL in their first year of draft. I'd rather send them over there, play pro, play against men, and get ready to go.
I think you're right. I think the OHL could be in trouble, which is the Ontario Hockey League, which is the top junior league within Canada. I think they could be in real trouble because guys are seeing this trend. Yeah. They're going to head over there. Why spend 4 years, risk injury to play at the junior level, and quite honestly, be abused? I mean, not personally, but your buses You got long schedules. You're trying to do school
also,
at the
guys,
same time.
like if you don't know
Why
anything about
not
hockey,
go over to Europe?
then the OHL still doesn't allow you to stay amateur and go to the NCAA.
Yeah.
It'd be different if the OHL was like, well, if you play the OHL, you go to NCAA afterwards. You can't do that anyway. So you might as well go over to Switzerland or Sweden and make money. But I think they'll survive because still a lot of people that you don't want to send their kids over there. But I honestly, if you have a kid right now who's that good, think about it.
Hey, we know Corey Conacher, who was good friends and a partner. My dad was a partner of mine. Corey went back and forth between Europe, the NHL, AHL. He went back to Europe and making good money, just way better than the AHL money. That's for damn sure.
Like I said, honestly, you guys sometimes put a level on treatment and dollar value on that. You might make less salary.
Yeah, but they treat him amazing.
Or maybe it's still over in a foreign country that I'm familiar with, but the treatment of everything is so amazing. You're treated like an NHL player. So, I don't know. I think that's what the topic was for me, was that there's just a higher trend of it. I'm interested to see how many people come from the AHL now, come from the roots of a team. I think it's going to come from overseas. So
it's going to be interesting to see for sure. And like I say, with Austin Matthews, even Canadians and Americans playing pro and coming back to the NHL. Joey, let's wrap up the NHL here with an interesting stat, the more overtime games than usual. Yeah. What's going on in the NHL?
Guys.
Well, just like football, defense is going on, and they're keeping games close now. You've got really close games happening. I think there's a lot of teams that play for the tie because I think they're good at 3-on-3. You've changed the overtime a couple years ago. I think there's teams that strategize and think they're really good at 3-on-3. Will actually play a tighter game and take the tie, get the 1 point, and then try and win overtime.
Yeah, I don't know if it's trying to do that. If it's just there's been great parity in the NHL, I think, of recent. I think it's hard to be.
Caps do, it's just like the NHL.
Yeah, it's and there's just so much talent worldwide. It's hard to be that bad that I think there's just a lot of tied games because the teams are close, they're good. I think there is definitely a lot less scoring than there used to be. A lot of 3-2 games, a lot of 2-1 games, which are 2-2 going to overtime and stuff like that. But even the high scoring games are just close. I think it's just a good parity league. Like the NFL, like most sports with caps, although basketball, you can overthrow teams with one player. Hockey's not that way. So I just think it's a balanced league. Obviously a cap-driven league. And I think without scoring as many goals as they used to, because goaltenders are too big. But I think it's still exciting. Hockey, I don't think you need to change anything. I think it's just causing more ties and more shootouts. But hey, it's just something to look forward to going forward. I know a lot of people love overtime. My mom only cares about the shootout.
To be fair, 3-on-3 hockey is boring. They thought it'd be better. In my mind, they go slower. They try and set up a couple plays to score on, but they're not racing up and down the ice. There's only 3 guys on the ice. So I've actually found 3-on-3 more boring than the 5-on-5 overtime. Well, actually, it's 4-on-4 overtime. But I'm like your mother. And I love shootouts because it's tense.
Skills on display.
It's great to watch these guys who can do this shootout. So there you go on the NHL. More overtime. Nothing wrong with it. I love it. Teams, one thing different that I do like about what they do in hockey, baseball's never done it, so it's not a big deal. Football, same thing. Give a point when you tie because you worked all that time in a game to get the tie. Give an extra point for overtime. Guys shouldn't come away from a tie game with nothing. I think the NHL's got it right. I think the NFL's wrong, and I think the baseball's wrong. I'd love to see that happen, but we may never see it happen because that's tradition, and it's the way it is.
But they actually play the sport. They actually play a quarter in basketball and football, and in baseball they play innings. NHL, they have to give a point because arguably it ends in kind of a gimmicky way with 3-on-3 shootout. But anyways, it's something to look forward to. More importantly, you need a good record because this could decide whether you make the playoffs or not. I know there was a team that had 12 shootout losses last year. Turning half of those into wins, that's a lot of points. So
and they would have been in the playoffs. So there you go, NHL from this Monday. We look forward to chatting with you again. We look forward to seeing you over on Patreon, and we thank you very much for viewing.